the wonderful VikingTrash, and you guys know her because we have her everywhere. And if you don't know her, I'm sure Little Bat can put the shout out in the chat now that she can hear me.
And you guys, in chat already.
You never know.
I think. I hope so.
Just to be safe.
Oh.
But we're just here to talk about mental health, how it affects Viking, and a few other things. Just have a nice chill chat, despite the roofers on the roof.
Yes. I can't hear anything, so far so good.
Yes, that's good. That's what I was worried about. I was like, I don't want Discord to pick it up.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Because I'm like, I don't want it to be enough for others. But
it makes sense.
So there is a trigger warning if you are sensitive to any kind of topics of mental health and of depression. That's the word I was actually looking for.
Yes.
Anxiety, anything like that. There is your trigger warning there in chat and your audio warning. First, Viking, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. I usually go by Viking on social media not because my real name is secret. My real name is Emilia, but people can't pronounce it, so I usually can't be bothered telling people. So it's not a secret, but it's Emilia originally. I am from Norway. I'll be 23 soon, and I've been streaming on Twitch for a little bit over 4 years. Struggling on the platform for 4 years. And then I made it to the official ESO stream team in October, which is my biggest milestone yet, I guess. And on top of that, gets to do some work with Bethesda Nordic and Cinemax in general, I guess. That's pretty much it. I live together with my boyfriend and we have a cat, so I live with him in this apartment.
Speaking of Bethesda Nordic, you were sponsored yesterday. How was that stream? How was it for you?
It was great. Yesterday was really, really good. I usually tell people when I have the sponsored streams how important it is that people show up, and people were like, yeah, bet we'll be there. So it was really good. It was a really good stream. I'm very happy with it, satisfied. And the community manager was also extremely happy with it, so that is good. It went very well.
And what made you decide to start streaming?
I kind of don't really remember how it all started, because the thing is, I originally was playing Overwatch and was playing Overwatch a lot, and got more into the whole internet gaming culture, I guess. And then I've always watched people on YouTube, but I guess at some point I figured that YouTube is too much work and that live streaming just seemed a lot simpler. But where I originally got the idea, I'm a little unsure. I actually can't remember. I also had someone in my I don't know her, but from where I'm originally from, there's this other girl who started streaming, and she's a huge streamer, super big, little streamer. So I already knew about Twitch because she was doing it a little bit. So yeah.
What is something that people seem to misunderstand about you?
A lot of things, I think. I think first of all, I feel a lot of people think they can treat me a certain way, and then they get extremely surprised when it turns out that they cannot treat me that way. Because I am very blunt and honest. And then I think people also tend to assume that I'm a bitch because I'm blunt and honest, and I might be, but I have good intentions usually. Like I don't view myself as like cruel. So I think a lot of people can like view me as like a mean bitch, and then originally I just have like I have good intentions, I mean well. I know that sometimes I can say things that kind of can come across a bit like harsh. Yeah, but I try my best to improve on that.
And the thing is also, when you're saying that you're honest, I can also like attest to not even just being your mom, but from conversations and stuff that we've had, and the help and stuff that you have behind the scenes, even been supportive and stuff. You're definitely, just honest, and it actually helps, other people get out of their head sometimes, when they are up for facing themselves and realizing, hey, this is just kind of my own head and I'm not right all the time.
That is the feedback I've gotten from other friends as well. Is kind of like it's that tough love kind of attitude, that kind of like that instead of bubble wrapping everything and just I try to not like invalidate people's experience. So if they are struggling or having a tough time, instead of doing the it's gonna be fine, like everything's gonna work out, because I hate that, because things they don't always work out. Things are not always gonna be okay. So I try not to like do that whole, because it feels extremely invalidating when people do that thing, like you're really struggling with something, and then people will just kind of be like, it'll be fine, like don't worry about it, you're overreacting, like so I try to give like a more productive, constructive feedback. Usually if friends come to me with an issue, my first response is usually, what can I help them see what they can do? How do we act? How do we not just react, but we act? And that's what I try to do in my own life too. And instead of just being on like standby and just observe and react to everything that's happening around us, I think it's much better to like be a bit more proactive and do things. So that's what I try to do when I help friends too. If they're struggling, is basically, what do we do now? What is the plan, basically? So, yeah.
I was trying to unmute myself, but then as soon as I went to, it was a really loud boom, because now they're apparently right above me.
Love that. It's great.
Love it 100%. How today would you say you are feeling in regards of your health, of kind of like where you feel you are today, right now, with your thoughts, your brain?
Yeah. I don't know. So like I think right now I'm in this space where I'm kind of just like I'm okay. And then if something now, like something falls apart, something goes wrong, I definitely feel like it wouldn't take much to just kind of make everything just fall apart a little bit, which is scary. I hate when I have it like this, because right now I feel good. I think I'm doing well, and I have kind of like this little like unstoppable thing. Obviously, also because of the stream and because of work is going pretty well. But then I feel like right now I'm just kind of it's weird. It feels very vulnerable. It feels like it can shatter any moment. So I feel good, but I'm also like super very, because I feel like it's only gonna take like a little thing to kind of like crack it. And then the mental health system in Norway denied me treatment, mental health treatment, for the second time. I applied twice during a period of 6 months ish, and I was denied twice. So I'm kind of just like weighing if I want to take up the fight and try to get treatment anyways,
right?
Or if I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, who cares? But Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So in Norway, as I am from America, so I don't really know all too much about other countries.
Yeah.
Which is on my part. But in Norway, do you guys have like different support systems outside of the regular, therapists, kind of like groups or anything kind of like that?
They do. I know locally, I think they have something they call like the anxiety circle. For anxiety. Anxiety is not my main problem though, but I know they have that because I've been nagged about it a million times to join it. Um, but my problem is that my anxiety, because I have social anxiety, I have diagnosed from a few years back. I got diagnosed general and social anxiety, and then also depression. But my social anxiety is much, much better, obviously. But where I struggle is in group dynamics. So classrooms, meetings, group calls, um, anything like parties, family birthdays, any kind of like gathering with a group of people. If it's a big group, I'll do fine. And if it's like a really small group, I'll do fine. But the moment you come to like 10 to 15, 20 people, I'll struggle. I'll struggle a lot. Um, so they have that. They have like the whole anxiety thing, and then they have some other free offers that you can like talk to some like nurses and some stuff like that, but it's all
Mm-hmm.
temporary, which is where my issue comes in because I need um I feel like my mental health is not a sprint. Like I can't just go to therapy for 3 months and then call it a day and be like, we're done.
Right.
I would like to have like a marathon. Basically, I would like to continue treatment for a longer period of time, preferably over multiple years, and have someone who I can consistently go back to for support. And that is what Norway lacks. So Norway has lots of like short-term offers that I've already had, like already participated in. I also did do like courses. There were 4 courses last year during February ish, yeah, something like that, where there was like 4 topics, and then there was like a classroom full of people, and I did go to those, um, and they were, I guess like it was good information, but it's not a cure. It doesn't help me, but it was good information. Like I'm glad I went, but like that's the offers Norway has right now.
So they don't have, because for us, we have your like, private therapists. We have therapists that are for the state or for the country, basically. Do they have those kind of options, or are you stuck with kind of you can only get it if you go through this program? That kind of long
Um,
term therapist.
so there are those options. So what I applied for and what I got denied is what we call communal, I guess, or like, it's the state. Um, so the county, it's their therapists, it's their system. So it
Mm-hmm.
all is like that whole system. And because Norway is a welfare country, and very little limited, we don't have a lot of like private stuff. Most of it is all public. On both, that means that there are good sides to that and there are bad sides to that. The bad sides are that it is always full. They're overworked and there's just too much people who need help right now, especially during the time that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And then the private ones, you can also get that covered because Norwegians don't do insurance and stuff like that. Like everything's free, so we don't do insurance like that in the same way that you would do in America. So I can get a private one covered from the state. The problem is that the waiting time is over 6 months. And because everyone wants help right now, because people are struggling during the pandemic, um, I don't like it's probably going to be more than 6 months basically. So that's my only option right now because I've been denied the state psychologist because they don't see anything wrong with me. Because I go what I was told in my letter that I got was that I go to work, I have hobbies, and I function. Therefore, I am okay. Is what I got.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's what they told me in the letter. Like, you have a normal kind of like day-to-day life, like you function, so therefore you are okay, and we don't see why you need help. So I guess my only option right now is to try to apply for those private ones. I can't afford to pay, so I'll have to try to apply through this, like the state and everything, the government and blah blah blah, and have them pay for it. It's just that the waiting time is a lot. So that's my options right now.
And speaking of the pandemic and everything going on, how do you feel that has really affected you, even from just a few months in to now? How everything is sort of kind of getting back to normal, but still very, very, different than what everybody is used to.
It's hard because in the beginning of the pandemic, actually, which is messed up, but I enjoyed it. Like, everything stopped for a bit. Like, it felt like the world was kind of on pause. So I actually kind of enjoyed the March lockdown that everyone had all over the world, where everyone was playing Animal Crossing and drinking, those TikTok iced coffees and stuff, like that period of time. And people were just wearing sweats and being inside, and watching Tiger King or whatever. Like that whole era for those few months. So I enjoyed that period of time. The thing is, a lot of plans that I had went down the drain. I had a lot of like things that I was going to do. 2020 was like a year where I had actually planned to do things. So I was going to TwitchCon Europe. I was going to Amsterdam, meeting some friends. Traveling by myself to Amsterdam. Flight tickets were booked. Airbnb was booked. Tickets to TwitchCon was booked. Everything was ready. I have one thing on my bucket list basically, and that is to see Rammstein concert, which is like a metal band. They were coming to Norway, so we were gonna go see them during the summer. I didn't get to see my family, obviously. That is in northern Norway. Stuff like that. But I didn't do anything last year because I didn't have a job. And then I was originally going to go to school, and then I didn't get in. So I was kind of just streaming and having like an okay time, honestly, which is horrible. So like I was doing pretty fine actually. I mean, I don't know, I've just been chilling. Like last year I was just chilling. I felt like I got rests. I finally got some rest.
I feel that.
I know a lot of people are like struggling during the pandemic, and like their mental health has really taken a hit because they can't see people, or like things are not normal anymore. Meanwhile, I just felt like someone hit a huge pause on everything and all the pressure of all the things that I had to do. I didn't feel the whole like, oh, I have to go out, I have to do this and that, I have to, because everything was on pause. So it was okay. It was okay to be inside. It was okay to just play video games because everyone else was doing it. So it was great. I honestly was thriving mentally.
I get that. For me, it was kind of the same. Like, I've always been more of an introvert. If I could do anything at home, I would. Like, I just like being in my room. It's always been kind of like a safe haven for me because I can kind of just drown out the world kind of thing. And when the pandemic started and it was like, all right, nobody can go outside, I was like, really? Now everybody has to kind of stay inside. And, there was all of nobody really knew too much, and it was like, oh, it's not serious. But then, it started to become serious and more serious and more serious. And then you're like, okay. But
yeah, for sure.
It's like, For me, not too much has changed. But I do know people who are more of the I gotta be outside, I gotta do something, I gotta like always gotta be moving kind of thing. And for them, I know it was taking quite a toll on them just not being able to go through that stuff. And then for me, here I am doing the same thing. I always do, just chilling and playing games and stuff. I'm just like, it's kind of just like a break, kind of thing. And then
it is
got more serious as we went along.
Yeah, I see Salem like saying that obviously you're worried about people getting sick and stuff. So
Yeah.
like when I say that it was nice, for me, obviously you also have to take into consideration that Norway did not struggle with COVID until very recently. So we weren't really feeling the pressure like you did in the States.
Yeah.
Or Italy did, or France, and other countries. Norway was doing very well. So we've been very privileged, very lucky. So that's why I wasn't struggling with, imagine if my grandma gets sick and dies, as much, because there was so little here. If people had it in my city, we were talking like 1 or 2. It kind of got out of hand recently, so we had like a big lockdown now during Easter, and that's when but the thing is also, like, that has mostly to do with my personality with things like this, is where I personally, and that's only for myself, I have a bit of like an attitude where I'm kind of like, fuck it. Like, if I get it and I, God forbid, I get it and get really sick, like, whatever, like, it's probably like you're so used, if you're very used to being in a dark place, then like shit like this happening and dealing with stress and crisis in general, like me dealing with crisis, I'm just a bit like, whatever happens kind of thing. And obviously most people don't have that kind of reaction to stuff like that. But I'm a bit like in crisis, and when shitty things happen, often I'm a bit like, oh well. It is what it is.
I feel that. So, with your experiences, speaking of like dark places, what kind of experiences do you feel that you've gone through, even like in the early years or more recently, that have really kind of cemented for you that it is something that you need to start taking serious, like your mental health, that you need to start looking for the therapist and seeking that kind of help? Or is it more like a gradual kind of thing, little things building up?
Just everyone laughing because Diva's walking in the background. She looks so silly. I've always thought, like, since I started feeling that my mental health wasn't on top, I've always had this feeling like maybe I should do something about this. So I've actually been fighting the system since I was at least 16, kind of trying to get help since I was 16.
Oh, wow.
And it's been like a constant battle. So I'll be 23, so that's like 6 years of kind of fighting the system, trying to get help. And then it goes into phases where I'm like, I really need help, like I desperately need help, and I will just take any help that I can get. So so if it's a short term kind of offer, or if it's a long term, doesn't matter, I'll take it. To kind of being like, I don't need help, to going into like, I need long term help. So it's just these phases. Obviously, the more ill I am, the more desperate I get for some relief, basically. And when I quit my antidepressants, because I was on antidepressants for a few years, and wasn't going to therapy during taking those antidepressants, so when I stopped taking those, I kind of figured, okay, I can't just lean on these medication anymore and use them as a crutch, because they weren't doing anything for me anymore. I felt like I was ready to not take them. It was just something I felt within myself, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of realized that maybe I should try solving a lot of these things, you know, like forever, like trying to put the lid on a lot of things.
Right.
Instead of just pretending that things don't exist and then let it build up over time, you know,
Yeah.
as you do. And then, you know, I had the whole harassment case in 2018 where I had this partnered streamer target me. And that was like, I was already doing really, really bad mentally. So that was like being kicked while I was down. And I was, at the time, I was also thinking, like, I'm going to need some serious help because I'm already vulnerable. And then these kind of things happen, kicking me while I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no support anywhere. I have nothing to grab a hold onto,
Right.
you know? And like as a content creator, there's always going to be things like this, like little crises, always, you know, maybe not as severe as the incident that happened to me,
Right.
but there was always be these kind of things, or like things in your real life, you know, stuff like that too. So it was just a matter of trying to be like, okay, I need to be a bit proactive and stop doing quick fixes because they don't last, pretty much.
So with, you know, like you were saying, you felt like you had to keep reaching out. You didn't really have like a source, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have hotlines in Norway? Kind of like how we here have the suicide hotline. Do you guys have something like that kind of that you could do?
We do, and I know people use it, and I know that because it's volunteer work, right? Like it is probably everywhere, most places.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of volunteer work. I have never called one personally because as I said, I have gone through so many like short term, um, like treatment thingies that I straight up cannot be bothered telling my story for the millionth time to a new healthcare person who wants to listen type of thing. Like I've told my story so many times to so many people that I've never personally called someone because I know that like calling them and being like, I'm in distress, and they're like, why? And I'm like, well, this is a story all about how, you know? Like, where do you start? So
Yeah.
I haven't tried them, but I know they exist. There's a few. There's like, you know, for suicide and for different kind of like, you know, if you're have eating disorders or uh, those kind of things. So there's plenty of resources like that. I think some of them are also specifically for younger people, like teenagers. Um, and I think they're free. I'm not sure. I think most of them are free.
So,
Yeah.
if you, with your experience, you know, firsthand trying to do all of this stuff, if you could change anything when it came to healthcare, when it comes to mental health, or you know, the system of that as a whole, what do you think you would do to kind of change that? Like, what would you feel would be a lot of help to someone else who is kind of in your position that is trying to get help, especially over 6 years of, you know, reaching out that would need it? What do you think they could do to maybe help those people?
I think for Norway, because I have seen so many people in the system, like doctors, like primary physicians, and psychologists, and therapists, and nurses, and God knows what. I just would love to have like an attitude check for them, kind of like a slap on the wrist situation for healthcare workers in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
Basically being like, hey, consider like, you know, take a reality check. How are you treating the people who are stepping into your office? Because I've had so many times now where I go into an office of a doctor or someone and they just treat me like shit. And not just me, like it's not just, and the worst part is if it was just me, then then fine. But like knowing that the person who was before me and the person who's coming after me is going to get the same attitude worries me. Like the thought of psychologists who in Norway, I think you have to go to school for like, I think you have to study psychology for like 7 years or something insane.
Wow.
7, 9 years.
That's a
It's
lot.
like, you know, you go to school forever to become a psychologist. You're an adult, like a full-on grown-ass adult, by the time you've graduated and starts actually practicing psychology.
Yeah.
So it's concerning that all these people are potentially doing more damage than they're doing good. You know, say you're treating someone who is very trigger warning but very suicidal, and you meet them with that kind of attitude that I've been met with. How do they know that that person is just not completely discouraged and goes and do something drastic because they don't get help and they've been met by some asshole with some degree? You know, that is frustrating to me. That whole attitude of like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm a psychologist. You don't know anything. Everything. It's just it's baffling, honestly. Like I just can't believe that it's going unchecked how they are acting and like treating people emotionally. I understand that psychologists and stuff are not supposed to be um overly sweet, and like, they're supposed to be kind of like neutral, almost a bit cold.
Right.
But I've been like disrespected, like from adults. Like, I'm an adult being disrespected by another adult, um basically being told that I'm a fucking idiot. So like that upsets me. And it's so simple. It's such an easy thing to do. Like, if you're having a really bad day as a psychologist, like, maybe cancel those sessions that day, honestly.
I
Because
agree.
you
Yeah.
might seriously do some harm.
Because I also understand that I wish, that we had that even here, because,
Mm.
I, in my own, trying to get help for my physical health, first, was, I was told by the the PA of my primary at the time that, oh, you can't be disabled. You're 26.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not how the world works. And if you are going to medical school for this, you should know there are people who are born disabled. It's like,
Yeah.
I can be 1 years old and be disabled. I could be 142, and be disabled. Age really doesn't have too much with it. And I feel that if you're going into something with medical care, with mental health care, you should probably, they should have something for that, where if you cannot even treat your patients, other human beings, sometimes the same age, with respect,
Yeah.
Maybe this is not the career path for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been trying to say, like in my streams too. And as Silver says in chat, it's the grades that matter. If you're smart enough to become a psychologist and it's a profession that pays well, the right people are not going to become psychologists because they don't know how to treat other human beings with. It's all about respect, that mutual respect. Even if that person who's sitting across from you is severely, very, very ill, people who are extremely ill, with whatever it might be, like I know probably a lot of the people who sit in those chairs don't only struggle with anxiety and depression, but more serious cases of schizophrenia and like borderline and bipolar and stuff like that. You can't just be like a condescending asshole. You just can't.
Yeah.
Like, worst case scenario, you might be the the last kind of like drop that makes them do things they can't take back. It's dangerous, is what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Because with, we were talking with Marius, who's a manager over at AFSP yesterday, and she was saying that it's a drop in, it's something that builds up over time. It's one thing after another, stressors just piling on, and it puts you at risk for suicidal thoughts, for making those kind of actions, hurting yourself, any of those kind of things, because it's just boom, 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 thing after thing after thing after thing. And I can personally attest to that, because not only recently have I gone through that, and I've talked to you behind the scenes about everything in detail of what was going on. And I've had it in the past when I was actually actively going through some of this stuff with people I'm no longer friends with, and it's just like sometimes people don't realize that you may be an asshole to someone for that 1 second and think nothing of it, but that could be the 5th or the 6th time someone has been an asshole to them within a week. And then that could be it.
And that could be it. Like, that could be the final. Like, some people are so vulnerable that like just like it's just, people keep talking about like the whole you see these stories online all the time about I was gonna end my life, and then someone smiled to me at the grocery store and it made me rethink my decision. You always hear about those sunshine stories. You never hear about the people the opposite way, where like if this incident made that person crack, like break completely. And like, yeah, that's nice, smiling at people at the store and stuff, but like the whole not being a fucking asshole to people you like, it really shouldn't be that hard. It really should not be that hard to just treat people with some kind of respect. I can understand, like being annoyed at people, and like some people will snap and like yell at you or be an asshole to you for a second, but that can be corrected by an apology, a sincere apology, and stuff like that. But people just don't care. Like, not only mental health professionals and like people in the healthcare system and stuff, just people in general just don't care. And it's so sad. It is so sad. And I wish people would kind of think more through all of that before they do certain actions.
Because it's one thing also that mental health for so long has been such a taboo topic. It's like, don't talk about that. But if you're a streamer, especially in our field, being a streamer, being someone on social media, if you come forward and are like, this is happening and it's making me feel this way, or if you're like, hey, today's not such a great day for me mentally, it's just like, oh well, it's like frowned upon, even sometimes unintentionally frowned upon. And it's like, no, we're all human beings. We all have these, feelings and stuff like that. And just because you work XYZ job, just because you're in whatever kind of field, that should not have any effect on what we can say that we're feeling. That we can't, be like, hey, this is what's going on with me, especially if you're having a really bad day and you feel like you gotta force yourself to like
exactly
smile and stream, and it's like, you should be able to be honest. Hey,
I was straight up told, like, why are you not talking about the game when I was streaming ESO? And I don't know, like I was just like, the thing is, I think I was talking about mental health. I think that was what we were talking about. Not that it necessarily matters, but you talk about mental health and stuff and like real life stuff as a streamer. You're human.
Yeah.
For like a split second, you're like human. You're like a normal human being. And like suddenly you just, I guess, like you're just, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is with people who are like, we're not talking about the game, because I was like, do I have to explain to you how Twitch works? Because I don't watch a single streamer who only talks about the game all the time. I watch very game-based streamers, and even they will talk about other games while they're playing this game, or they'll talk about movies or food. Like, I was just like, how I'm just a person,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, lately, because I have had a bit of a, and as good as it is, but I had a little bit more better viewer numbers than I'm used to. I kind of feel like it's already starting the whole she's a content creator, she's not a human being thing, and it's terrifying. Like yesterday there was an incident where someone had are subscribed to my channel and were upset because they didn't get more winner chances when they were subbed.
What?
And I was just so dumbfounded. I was just like, I'm a person. Like, what? Like here I think people are subscribing to my channel because it's out of the kindness of their hearts, because they want to.
Right.
Because they want to support me. And this person was just like, we're not, us subs, and like speaking for everyone too, we're not being appreciated. Because they were given more winner chances in my giveaways, because everyone has an equal chance of winning. And then when I started saying like how I appreciate everyone, subs or non-subs, I guess they took it as like, I don't know, like I guess that's like a matter of opinion, but should I like appreciate people who paid more than the people who don't pay? So I just kind of talked about how messed up I thought that was. And basically, and people in chat were like, Viking is a human being.
Yeah.
Like a person. Like, this is fucked up, man. And also, like, for some countries, because I talked to my friend Gail about this, I don't know if it's even legal to have extra winner chances for subscribers because it is viewed as gambling.
Right.
I don't know how that works. So I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna do it anyways, but also like if I might be like
don't tempt the horse
of gambling. So, but yeah, so it's just like the whole being treated as, first of all, I feel like you're being put on a pedestal first when you gain a little bit of traction. And I'm not talking like, I'm not Twitch famous, I'm not Twitch partner, nothing. And on a regular day, I only have 20-30 viewers usually, which is not only, but I'm not some big shot, I'm not one of the big streamers. And that I'm already being put on this pedestal that I'm just supposed to take everything. Like people can just come in and use me as a punching bag or just demand things like that and not think, oh, she's a human being with human struggles. This is going to affect her day severely once she ends the stream. Or like affect the rest of the stream for that sake.
Yeah, and I think, especially in cases like that, like people don't realize, like, you're not entitled just because you pay. Like, you pay, and, that is amazing and great. And I think Discord is also putting me out every now and then. But,
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Like, the line is, like, disappearing sometimes. But, like, just because you pay does not mean you are entitled to anything. You're not entitled to the streamer's time. You are not entitled to extra winnings. You're not entitled to play with the streamer. Like, it does not, you're not entitled to a human being.
Yeah, we don't owe you anything.
Yes.
Like, I appreciate the kindness, but like that's not how kindness works. Like
exactly.
I don't give presents to people for like, say for Christmas. You give someone a Christmas present and then you expect to get something back. Like that's not, then you're not doing it right.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And it's like, sometimes people wonder, like, how the really entitled streamers, like, get to where they, like, feel they are entitled to these things, because it's kind of like a mutual thing. It's like, all right, I just gave you $1,000 donation. Now, I'm entitled to you acknowledging my existence. And, those streamers are like, all right, bet. But now I am entitled to you giving me more money. It's like, or like this other person giving me money if they want my attention. And it's like, it's kind of like this, not like a pyramid scheme, but it's like, it's all connected in a really unhealthy web.
It is. I'm very we're probably sidetracking a little bit, but I am very aware when people are very generous in my stream or like gift me games or donate money. I'm always a little bit cautious. Obviously, I appreciate it a lot, but I'm always kind of cautious about like, what do you want? Because you're not used to people just doing things because they're kind. Like I'm in my day-to-day life, I am not used to people just doing things because they want to.
Same.
I feel like a lot of people in the whole world, people are just, a lot of people do things because they want something back. When people sub and donate and stuff, I have like two reactions. If it's very, very generous, I'm a little bit like, okay, like, all right, this is kind of scary. But also, I feel like this person is like kind of dedicated to my community, not just me, like the community. So it's like, it's a mix of like, okay, this person is very dedicated and they want to stick around and they're very happy with what we do here, but also a little bit of like, but what do they want?
Yeah, I definitely get that, because with the situation that I had before, where like they would give to that streamer who I'm no longer friends with, they would give them things, and then they would try to give me and the other mods like gifts because they wanted our friendship. Like that was, and they stated as much before they retracted it, because it's like, well, you know what you really want. But it's like, that is something that never ever sat right with me before, they came out and said, I gave gifts because, I wanted friendship and stuff. And it's like, I give to my friends because I want to give to my friends. I don't give things to people to make them my friends. Like, that's not how it works. It's not how it should work, and it really muddies things up for those people, because it's like, well, now this other person down the line has given me something. Do they just want me to be their friend? Is that why they're being nice to me? Is that why they're giving me things? So it's crazy.
Yeah. For me also now, because I have a lot of like, the whole Twitch has a lot of weird dynamics. And if you've been on the platform for a while, you know that Twitch has a lot of weird dynamics. I thought about this earlier today also, like how I right now or like before too, have been hanging out in all these bigger streamers streams and kind of be that hopeful smaller streamer. And now I feel like I'm slowly.
Thank you, Gail.
Hi, Gail, by the way.
I just got the alert in my ear.
Slowly becoming the streamer where people are hanging out in my stream with their hopeful dreams, which I think that's a good thing. Like, I'm not saying that as so I have a lot of like new streamers, not only ESO streamers, just streamers in general, especially because of Gale and stuff. There will be a lot of.
No matter what else happens, the gods will always be grateful for everything you've done.
Hey, Silver donated.
Silver. Thank you so much for the donation.
That is awesome. But like that whole dynamic of now I am that streamer where people are hanging out in my stream and they want are hoping for raids, are hoping for hosts and support and stuff. And I'm very aware of that. So when I raid people and gift subs or donate, or like give people that mutual support, like I'm a little careful because I also know that there's this weird dynamic, you know, of like the whole. It's the same with gifts, but I'm just trying to be a bit careful with how, like, that I don't become that kind of streamer who buys relationships with raids or stuff like that. You know, I'm just, if I thoroughly think through a lot of the things I do on the platform nowadays, and who I raid and who I host often, and like where I show my support. And I also do feel like on the platform, if you give your pinky, some people will take your whole hand.
Yes.
You know, I have experienced that before, and it can be a little scary sometimes, where you give them a little bit of you and then they take everything. Try to take everything. So yeah, there's definitely this weird dynamic on Twitch, and like with friendships and stuff, and power dynamics as well. How a person with 3 viewers are gonna view you as a streamer. If you have 30 viewers, are gonna view you as a big streamer, which is makes no sense to me, because I like, for me, I'm not a big streamer, but a lot of them do view you as a bigger streamer.
Right, because perspective. If you're down here, you see this person, but you don't see the other person. Yeah.
Because I'm at the point where I sit on 20, 30 viewers, you know, maybe 40. And then if I manage to climb to 60, I've had a really good day. Meanwhile, other streamers who just started climbing to 10 have a really good day. It's the perspective, you know? It's weird. And then you lose a little bit of that perspective. The more you grow, it's harder to remember back to where you used to be. So I'm trying to stay humble too. Like trying to stay very humble. But yeah. And like, obviously, like, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but it does tie the stream, like, as a streamer and the mental health, it all ties together. With, you know, relationships and everything is kind of just like this one loop bundle. I guess
a whole
web. It's very tightly, like, I also saw someone tweet, a friend of mine, or me and Gail know him, Twisty Shape, I think he tweeted the other day that he needs to stop tying his self-worth to the stream.
Right.
And we all do it. I do it. I'm sure plenty of people who are watching do it, you know, tying their self-worth to the stream. So if they had a shitty stream, they're a horrible person suddenly. If they had a good stream, they're great. Like, we all do it.
Yeah.
Which is really, really unhealthy. Extremely unhealthy. As I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to separate it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to streaming, there's a lot of unhealthy habits that either you start out with or you pick up, and you know, it's crazy because during the pandemic, you know, a lot of people started streaming. Like, they picked it up because it was like a good way to, you know, one, spend your time, two, some people wanted to do it because they thought it was easy money. It's not. Three, you know, you know, it's like a good social thing. So it's like a lot of people picked it up, and you know, it hurt them mentally, because especially the ones who thought it was big money, because you know, they started, they got all of this stuff, and you know, now they're sitting with all of this expensive equipment with nowhere to go.
I'm laughing because I have a friend that did that.
Oh,
like,
no.
in real life, like in my city, who kind of did that. And he was like, he messaged me and he was like, hey, like, you know, kind of basically wanted me to coach him almost with streaming. And I gave him a few tips and tricks, but I have done this before. I've had friends before being like, I'm going to start streaming. And then I helped them set everything up, and I helped them get equipment and stuff, like tips and tricks, and coaching them, you know, spending a lot of time. And I straight up told him, like, if I'm going to coach you, it's going to cost you. Like, you're going to have to pay me if I'm going to coach you into streaming, because people are charging a lot of money to doing what I currently am doing for you for free.
Yeah.
This is knowledge that I built up on my own for 4 years, you know. Every day. I used to stream every day. I used to be that kind of person who streamed 8 hours every day. Like, it was insane. I didn't have any breaks. So I was like, I can do coaching, sure. It's gonna cost you. I can also I love helping my friends, you know, like in Desi's case, like if Desi was like, hey Viking, what do you think about, and then she needed help with something like adjusting or like some settings, or like, I would totally be up for helping that. That's different. We have a friendship. When people are reaching out to me just because they know I stream and wants to get tips and tricks and coaching for free, that's different. Then you're gonna have to pay me. But I like helping friends and, like, you know, people that I feel like helping, basically.
And there's like so many different unhealthy things. Like you were saying, you didn't get a break. Like breaks, oh my goodness, the anxiety and stuff that I have seen even before I started streaming with streamers and breaks. It was like, if I take a break, everything is broken, everything is gone, and not healthy at all. You get vacations and breaks in your regular 9 to 5 jobs that is the same that you need for streaming, because it is a job. You do so much, even if you don't get paid, even if you don't hit that threshold. If you're streaming, sitting here for 5, 6, however many hours, it's not easy.
It's not easy, but the sad part about streaming, unfortunately, is that if you and this is like not me, because I've been there, done that, you know. So every summer I visit my family for 3 weeks. Usually, like, I didn't go last year, but I usually go visit my family for 3 weeks in northern Norway, taking 3 weeks, almost a month off of the stream. And I hate to say it, but it is incredibly damaging. If you have some momentum, that is. So if I was to take a week off right now that I've been doing so well, that would probably, you know, jam some sticks in my wheels, basically, which is the sad part, which is a horrible and sad part about live streaming and having this as like a side income or a hobby or something you take a bit more seriously than just something you do in your spare time, because I'm at the point where I take my stream almost as seriously as a job. And that is soul crushing. Like, knowing that if I am so burnt out that I physically cannot just bring myself to stream, knowing that I take a week off, most of the people are not going to come back. Like, it's going to damage the stream. It fucks me up. It fucks me up, and it I wish it wasn't like that. And I am very good at taking breaks and knowing my limits, as I have been. I took a break like in February because I was so busy with work. Like, there was so much going on, like with my new job and everything. So I did take a week off, and it was fine. But I also know that if I took a week off now, probably wouldn't be the smartest. You know, it's
right.
So like streaming also like is extra stressful because of the number game. And also, like, you know, now that I stream mornings, I know that I can climb to 60 viewers on my own without big raids. And then during evenings, I can't. So the whole number games of Twitch is probably what messes with my brain the most. And sometimes actually I think contributes to making me more ill, mentally ill. Which is
most definitely,
you know, horrible. And then people are like, well, then why do you do it? Why do you put yourself through this stress of numbers and you know, all of these, you know, personal relationships that you have with people that are your viewers and your community, and it's just so much. But then there's a whole nother side to it that is so rewarding. And during the pandemic, if I wasn't streaming, the whole pandemic, like last year, would have been a whole different story. It would have been awful. I would have hated it. I would have probably struggled a lot. But I was busy, you know. I didn't have a job, but I did have a job because I had streaming. So streaming kept me sane, and made everything better. So
yeah,
it has good sides and it has really dark sides.
And numbers is definitely something that is a really big unhealthy thing in not even just streaming, but YouTube and stuff like that. Like in general, content creation and numbers, it's so damaging because
it also like can also corrupt people.
That too, yeah,
extremely. Like will change people.
Because if you don't have enough viewers, or you're not getting this X many amount of likes on your posts and stuff like that, it's like it's so wild. We're only here for so much time,
Yeah.
That is even just without it prematurely ending, and people are not just numbers, and they are giving their time. They're giving up time of their lives to watch you, to look at your posts, to follow, to all of these things.
Yep.
And I feel like so many people forget this. Like people, especially people with millions, they just see numbers. They don't see the people behind those numbers.
And that is what I said yesterday when this incident happened with the whole this person who felt entitled to more stuff, I guess, for being subscribed in my channel, which I already explained that you do get stuff for being subscribed to my channel, as you do in most channels. It's the emotes and the Discord role and no ads and all of that. But I was also like, I told them, like, an insecurity of mine is that I don't treat my community good enough. I treat my community well, but I never know if it's good enough. If I'm thankful enough, doing enough for them and stuff like that. And then I also tried saying how I desperately try not to just view the stream as numbers. People who follow, I try to just not think of them as another number. And once you start going up into the thousands of followers, obviously it gets a little harder to do that. But I try my best to view everyone as a single individual person with their own lives and their own personality and stuff. And how that's why, like, it makes me so sad when people decide to be kind back, basically, and contribute to the community and help me financially with a sub. And I don't know, like, when it's already insecurity and people are like, you're not doing it enough, you're not acknowledging us, and then I'm here trying to do my best to view everyone as a person, and it's just that also like messes with me.
Yeah, and I definitely am extremely grateful for the community that I have. We are small, but I would not replace any of these people for anything. They are still here. I took almost a month off, because everything was just stacking upon each other, and it's like I can't bring myself to stream and to force myself to do something that I'm not mentally capable of right now. And especially when I first came back, it's getting a little bit better now, but I stuttered a lot and it was really bad repeating words, and speaking is already something that is I'm really, really self-conscious of, just because of something that happened, back in high school. There's a dumb adult who was like, she sounds dumb when she talks to people. And it's like, sometimes, especially with bigger communities, they're going so fast that sometimes you can't see all of those people. You can't, read message, which is one thing I'm grateful that I have enough that we I can have a conversation with people,
right,
and not miss people. But, every now and then I'll probably miss someone or a comment or. But when you are so big, your chat is moving a million miles a second, it is hard to see these as people and not just numbers, names on chat, especially if they're doing the same message over and over, if you're spamming Fs or whatever. It's just like, all right, well, there's just a bunch of Fs, and it's wild. Like, it's something that even unintentionally, as you get bigger, affects you.
It does. Yesterday I couldn't read chats for the first part of the stream. Not because it was like extremely busy, but also, I was talking with other streamers on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And then I constantly had to unmute and mute and unmute and mute because people are following, and then I have to mute myself in the Discord to thank for a follow. And then I'm also tanking, so I have to actually pay attention. I can't just like chuck some AoE in there and just talk to the chat, I actually have to be present. And on top of that, I was tanking Depths of Molitor.
Yes.
Which I've never done before in my entire life. Never finished Depths of Molitor. So I was like, oh boy. Oh well. The Lord have mercy on my soul. And then I tanked Moongrave Fane, which was a pain in the ass to tank. I had no idea it was going to be that hard to tank. And then, chat was moving so quickly. Sometimes, especially if there was something going on, obviously everyone's reacting and there's like a lul up like the whole stream. Everyone's lulling, and then everything just drowns out. And I think I only took like 2 times where I was like catching up on chat, and then I got raided, and then people were spamming like this long raid messages.
Yeah.
And the whole chat, and I was just like, I'm being such a bad streamer today because I'm used to reading every single message and responding to every single one, and I can stop and scroll back up and catch the chat, and I couldn't do that because I didn't have the time. So at the end of the stream, like when I wasn't with the other streamers, I was just like, thank you so much for not holding it against me today that I can't read all of chat and like not being upset at me for not being able to read all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way I am able to do that. But then I feel like the chat kind of just becomes like this. You almost dissociate a bit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, did you dissociate from the chat? You're reading it, you're responding to it, but you're not making that connection. You don't compute that this is a person, kind of, because you dissociate so strongly from everything because it's going too fast, it's too much. And I'm guessing that's what a lot of bigger streamers end up doing unintentionally too. And you like, at some point, I don't think you can help it. Unfortunately, we're only people after all. I'm not a computer. I can't just plot in, and then people are like, insisting that I call them by their real name, and I'm like, I have no idea what your real name is. And then they're like, well, I told you, and I was like, I can't remember. Like, I'm only human. So like the whole, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to balance it by acknowledging that they are people and not treat them as numbers, but at the same time, sometimes you'll kind of like dissociate from everything, and you just straight up cannot just be like, this is a person. Because it's too much.
Yeah. So to kind of bring us more on the mental health itself focus, we got so distracted.
It's fine.
Do you ever have like those periods where you have, because I know you talk a lot about, you have depression and stuff like that. Do you ever have those periods where, you have lower interest in activities, even streaming, like where, you usually enjoy it, but, it's just weighing on you so heavy, you just, not today. I don't feel like doing anything I usually find fun.
Yeah, I definitely have that. I had a period of I have periods where I straight up consider quitting. And you know, it's pretty serious when you consider quitting when you're doing, you know, when you have a consistent viewership, you have people who show up to your chat every day, and you still consider quitting. Because you just either because it's not going well enough, or and you like, you know, that's not me being like, it's not going well enough, I'm just gonna quit. There's this whole internal fight going on because of it, and like a snowball rolling, you know, like people are not showing up, and then, you know, you tie that to your self-worth, and then you tie that up to everything else, and that's just a whole very complicated thing. So I've had periods of time where I'm like, maybe I'll just quit. Like, I'm not motivated. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to play video games anymore. You're just done. You're so done. Like, it doesn't bring you any joy or any pleasure. I definitely have had those. It's been a while since I had a serious one. I think I've been riding the high from joining the stream team since October, pretty much. So I'm just praying that it lasts. Because, you know, I've just been surfing on it pretty much. And then last time in March, April-ish, I was doing pretty shitty with viewer numbers, like not very good. But I finally was able to just be like, this is just how it is. It's always going to be like this. I know this because this was exactly what happened last year.
Right.
I already knew this was going to happen because this is every year during these few months. I said this last year. I said this the year before. Twitch just dies. It feels like Twitch just dies. Don't know why. It feels like all social media just kind of dies out for a period of time. What it is that does it, I have no clue. But last year, I almost quit because I had 3 viewers in my chat, which was, you know, I wasn't used to it, kind of. So this year I was prepared, and I was finally able to say, like, fuck it, I'll just play whatever I want then, and I'll play Assassin's Creed, you know, because I'm having just as many viewers playing Assassin's Creed as I have playing ESO, so then I can do whatever I want because it doesn't matter viewer-wise. And that was so nice. It was so nice to just be able to be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. You know, it was freeing. And then have things work out. My channel didn't die, you know. We made it back on top, and we're doing fine now. But it was so nice to just kind of be like, oh, whatever. And then, you know, I didn't feel like it was going well enough, so I was like, okay, what can I do? What do I have in my power right now that I can do? Okay, I have two days where I can stream mornings instead of evenings. I'm gonna try that. That's the only thing I can do right now. So I did. You know, it's the whole, like, the feeling of being able to just do something about it. You know, make changes, switch things up, do whatever you know, even when I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it didn't do anything miraculous for the stream, and like I had 8 viewers, you know, but the feeling of like, I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like, that's nice. That's a very nice feeling to have. Just the I don't care. It was very freeing.
So when it comes to the things that you do enjoy, what are some of your favorite de-stressors? Things that when you're feeling extremely stressed, you like to do, whether it be, you know, kicking back on a game, having a nice glass of wine. Like, what are some of your favorite things to kind of de-stress?
I put my phone away and turn the sound off, and then I close Twitch. That is important because sometimes Twitch is what makes, like, I definitely have the thing where I have friends, if they're doing very well, more like better than me, I feel self-conscious about it. I'm just like, oh, I'm doing something very wrong, you know? So I close Twitch, and I put away my phone, and I put my Yeehaw boots on, and I log on to Red Dead Online, and I ride my horse in Red Dead Online. That's it.
By the way,
that's it.
For all that's listening, she is very adamant of recruiting people for Red Dead Online.
I don't know. And the people are like, I don't want to be a cowboy. And I'm like, listen, it's not about being a cowboy. It's fashion and horses is the only thing that matters. So yeah, that's usually what I do. Like, I'll just go for a trail ride, and I can't afford a real horse, and then we're gonna play Star Stable because the game looks like shit mostly. And like Red Dead has the most crisp, like realistic in-game everything. Really, like it's a really extremely good-looking game. But yesterday I was doing that, and then someone came up and shot me in the head.
Oh.
So I quit the game and went to bed.
Oh no.
I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight them. I'm just gonna like, they shot me in the head, and my character, just executed. And I was just like, all right, I have the power to just fuck off, so I'm gonna do that. And I quit the game. And that is also self-care.
That is definitely self-care. Are there any other ones other than Red Dead?
I don't like gaming is my happy place. So playing games is definitely what kind of like brings me some peace. I would love to tell you that I go for a walk in nature and then I make a cake from scratch and I help the poor and stuff like that, or like read a good book and discover something new about myself. But it's mostly video games. It really isn't that deep for me. I just need to just disconnect for a bit, I think, and be somewhere else and be someone else, I think. And that's also what, for me, when I stream, I am not like, I don't have a streamer persona. Like, if you meet me in real life, you are getting exactly the same. Sorry to disappoint, but exactly the same. Maybe even more swearing, maybe even more bluntness in real life, because in real life I am less fear of being misunderstood and taken out of context on the internet.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just disconnecting in a video game and like being someone else, like having different responsibilities on stream. Even though I am the same person with the same personality, I'm still something else, someone else, and something else on stream than in real life. So streaming actually kind of helps sometimes too. If I'm feeling really shitty about IRL stuff, then I can jump on stream and it's like a bubble,
Yeah.
And I'm just here. I'm not there. I'm just here, only here. And what happened to the horse? I think the person murdered my horse too, actually, but it'll respawn, so it's fine. But I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of griefing me more, so I just left.
Yeah, I definitely get that. For me, it's kind of similar, where I use an avatar more so because I like the privacy. Thank you, Joe. More so because I like the privacy, and because my real life is trash. It's
same.
I like, while Desi is my nickname, hence why it was my username, and Desi and Thea, they are both me. They are both, when I am streaming, I'm not someone else. I am this giggly, very easily to cry when someone is nice to me person. Yeah. Like, that is me. You meet me in real life, I might be a little shy at first, because I'm shy, but, that's me. I'm gonna laugh a lot, probably. I'm gonna cry if you're too nice to me, and, that's me. And it's weird for me because I feel like people think because I have the avatars that it's like a persona. Because there are, people who use the avatars who are in character, but that's not me. I am Desi. Desi is me.
I think some people put on a persona on stream to protect themselves. Like their IRL selves. Some intentionally and some unintentionally. Like some people probably don't do it on purpose, where they put on the streamer persona and then kind of protect their core, kind of like their raw self, which I think is fine. I just don't do it. Because I don't have the spare energy to do that. Because it's going to take energy to act like someone else. And if I had the energy, that's not where I would spend it. So yeah. And also, like, streaming is unfortunately, the most exciting thing I do. I hate to disappoint once again, but I don't do anything cool off stream. I have a job that is incredibly dull, very like office job, 9 to, well, I only work like six and a half hours, so it's like 8:30 till 3 kind of thing. And I sit and work in Adobe After Effects for 6 hours a day. That's it. And then I don't do anything else exciting. Like, I have a couple of IRL friends and that I never see because I'm not very good at keeping in contact with people. And that's it. And then it's me, my boyfriend, and the cat, Diva. And that's it.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much the same. Like, before, when my health wasn't so atrocious, I would go to concerts, and of course, before the pandemic also, I would go to concerts, and, because I knew my health was declining, I would do things. I still have my bucket list book somewhere around here, but
yeah,
I haven't left my house in ages, except for like doctor's appointments, and only recently have I gone to a restaurant. So it's like my life is pretty much boring. Like, you put my life on paper, you're just like, this is it. This is a trash book. It's like, it's streaming is definitely for me also probably the most exciting thing that I do.
I also feel like, for me, like, if I am, like, I post on Twitter, like, oh, we're doing this super cool, like, sponsored stream, blah, 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 or like charities and Bethesda stuff, stream team stuff, and then people are like, wow. And then off stream, and like, I'm sitting in my pajamas with no makeup in my couch, and my house looks like absolute shit. You can just see how much mess there is here, because that's a part that's not usually on stream that much. And I'm just like, I think people think that, like, there's so much more, and then reality, there's nothing more. Like, this is it.
Yep.
Like what you're currently watching on my stream, like, that's it. It doesn't, there, beyond these frames, there's nothing. It's like, that's where the fantasy kind of ends, and there's not a whole lot of exciting things going on. There's a messy house and kitty litter all over the floor, and too much laundry that needs to be folded, and we both have regular, very normal people jobs, and like, yeah, that's it. That's the reality, and then, my mental health, because I used to talk more, I think, about my mental health and stuff on stream, but I don't do it as much. Also because I just sometimes I don't feel like it. I don't want to bring it into the stream sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm already having to deal with it in IRL, basically.
Yeah.
So also, it's so hard when you're really, really struggling mentally. You're so depressed, like, you're so struggling, and I would so love for the stream to kind of understand how bad it is.
Yeah.
But, what's the point? Kind of like, I would tell them, hi, I'm not doing so well right now, and they would never be able to grasp how bad it is. Or wrap their heads around how severe it is. So I usually just don't. at this point.
Yeah.
I don't feel like spending energy on it.
And and like we were saying before, like when it comes to, you know, the social media form and talking about mental health, it's still, you know, people are trying to make it less taboo, to be honest. And, you know, my community knows that I'm honest to the point. Like, I will say vaguely, like, hey, you know, this just happened. I'm not great. I'm affected this way, but I won't go into great detail. Like, two personal friends in the background where, you know, I know that they have my back and won't be like all over the place, you know, starting drama and you know, whatever. And, you know, them I will tell deep details. You, little bat, you know, like, you are literally like my real friends, only online. Like, I feel that, like, you know, with you, also with little bat, you know, you've seen so much stuff that I've gone through, and, you know, I feel comfortable because you both are kind of that friend who is honest and is like, hey, this is what's happening, but maybe let's try this, or, you know, hey, this is just kind of your head, you know, fighting you kind of thing, you know, like, you two are literally like the friends I need. So it fits. Because, you know, especially more recently, you know, my head is literally attacking itself because the situation that happened with someone I trusted, breaking my boundaries extremely, and, you know, to the extent that they did that. And it's like, I am trying to not get to the point where my brain is like, you can't trust anybody. Like, it's trying to fight my brain. It's like half and half. It's like, no, everyone is not like that. And the other half is like, yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're gonna hurt you.
You know that feeling you sit when you had a Discord conversation with someone off stream, obviously, like in private, and you've been talking for hours and you just vented like so much stuff and shared so much private information, and you post a call and you sit with that, fuck. Shit, what did I say? You know, like, who did I just share that to? Because, you know, we probably all of us have so many friends online that we mostly talk to, and I so often have that feeling after I hang up to people like on Discord when we're done talking and I have to go to bed. I just sit here and I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, because my brain is like, they can't be trusted because you don't know them IRL. Like, you don't, how do you know, you know? Like, this whole paranoia. So I'm trying not to I know that feeling, not trying to let it get to me, and like trying to not think that everyone's out to get me. Or sabotage me. And like with content creation too, some people are so vile that they'll do anything to sabotage you, thinking that somehow will make them more successful.
Yep.
So I'm just, I feel paranoid sometimes that like I can't let too many people in that are online because maybe they're trying to destroy me from within, you know? Imposters. It's crazy, but like
emergency meeting.
It literally has happened.
Yeah.
And it happens to so many people who do content creation. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's, and, you know, with me, you know, I had someone who I thought was a friend, you know, like, at the time, because I had, you know, the rose-colored glasses on, and, you know, was in the moment, I was like, you know, this person is my friend, you know, I can tell them things, and they turned around, and, you know, it was a lot of, oh, you know, you're over-exaggerating. This isn't really like this. Or, you know, it's just because of this reason. You know, this is why they're treating me bad. And, they would break my boundaries and things like that. And it's like, it's hardest when it's someone you feel is extremely close to you. Someone that you are like, yeah, this is a good friend. And something that really hit me, and even afterwards, when this was supposed to be all said and done, you know, for them to say that they are having problems because of what I did. And the only thing I tried to do was escape this toxic situation.
That happens so much though, where you're trying to protect yourself and do the right thing for you by setting boundaries and letting people know, like, here and no further, basically, like, this is enough, this is as far as it goes.
Yeah.
And then they somehow manage to be the victim when all you're doing is setting boundaries for yourself.
And
it's
I kind of touched on it yesterday when, you know, speaking with Meredith about, you know, this person, they love bombed me, and, you know, when that didn't work, they tried to contact other people to try to get information on me, and then when that didn't work, they tried, you know, to do the, subtweeting, you know, saying really shitty things about me, but you know it's me, even though the name wasn't said. And then when that didn't work, well, now we're going to threaten to file harassment on you. And obviously that's not going to work, because that's the opposite of the situation. Which, also, just a heads up for anybody and everyone who's listening, you cannot file a false harassment on someone, because it will only smack you in the face, and you will get in trouble very badly. I had to look it up. Because I was like, can we even do this? So just keep that in mind. I don't think anyone here would do that, but just keep that in mind.
Also, as someone who has been harassed by other content creators, it pisses me off when people are like, they're harassing me, and people are like standing up to themselves, and I'm like, hey, person who was actually harassed, I had to go to the fucking police, the Norwegian police, to make it stop.
Yep.
And that it only ended after I filed a report and wanted to get like a restraining order, because this person lived in the same country as me, and Norway small, so I was scared for my life.
Yeah.
So when people were like, this person's harassing me, and you are the one who are like
the harasser,
the butt,
yeah,
like that's offensive. Honestly, that's offensive to me, because I actually went through that. I actually went through months and months and months of serious harassment, slander, threats, you know, like graphic, violent things were said about me. Like, I had to just be okay with people calling me a fucking bitch. And like, these people weren't doing the shady thing where they talk about you but they don't tag you. No, they tagged me. Oh, they made sure that my name was everywhere, so people would also go and harass me. So that pisses me off.
Yeah, I definitely imagine.
Because when people are straight up tagging you, so more people can go and harass you, like, yeah.
And it's a thing also where the alerts in my ear.
So very good.
Thank you so much for the follow. But you know, when it comes to this person, whether they know it or not, was very extremely manipulative. And you know, looking back at it, it's like a lot of things were made to be my fault, even when they weren't. And it was clear as soon as they sent someone who was our mutual, when I had on multiple occasions that I do not want anybody to pick sides. No one. If you want to watch both of us, if you want to interact with both of us, go for it. Like, I just don't want to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was like that option was not apparently on both sides. On the other side, it was you're either with me or you're out kind of thing.
Either you're with me or you're
against
me.
Yes, yeah. Yes. And
like, even it's not even like you're against me, like we're straight up like we're enemies now.
It's war, yeah. And you know,
because I don't know.
Yes. So like the fact that also you would, the harasser, say, I'm going to file harassment on you in this situation, the victim, was bewildering to me. And it's something that I feel probably happens a lot more than people are aware of. I mean, a lot of people now, you know, are coming forward with their situations with other people, you know, in the content creator sphere. And it's like, that's going to damage real people going through this. Like the real victims, the real people who are being harassed and just like don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's ridiculous.
I had there's another streamer who got harassed in game in ESO, and they're like a bigger streamer. So they got harassed in game in ESO, which is people were like, oh, it's in game, like how's that harassment? But like following people around when they're telling, they'd be like, please stop, and you're following them around and throwing you know, the mud pies and stuff on them constantly, not leaving them alone, and then whispering them in game, and also inviting you like to group all the time and inviting you to duel and stuff like that is harassment.
Yeah.
First of all, but I was in their chat, and I don't remember what I said, but I said a bunch of stuff because I can never shut up, obviously. But I got feedback from the streamer in DMs after that, like, you handle it so well, Viking. Like, you say all the right things. Like, you are kind of hitting them where it hurts without stooping to their level, without giving them any more fuel, basically. Like, you're doing exactly what, because obviously I was doing this to kind of back up the streamer, show the people who are harassing him that, you know, people in chat are not agreeing with them. And just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, showing him that he wasn't alone, basically, and that obviously we also see what these people were doing was wrong. And I was like, yeah, I do know how to react to being harassed. Because I've been there, done that. So I know exactly what to do when you're being harassed by someone. And the fucked up thing usually is to do nothing. Because they will continue and they will pile up on evidence against themselves. You know, they will continue. And if you're doing absolutely nothing, you're just minding your own business, pretending like they don't exist, they keep going. They have nothing on you. Nothing at all.
Yep.
They have no fuel. They have no screenshots to share, no pictures, like nothing. And then if you have to react, which in this case he obviously had to because it was happening on stream and he has like 100 viewers, to be as constructive as possible. So he was basically like, you know what, just let them continue, like continue, do it. Like all of this, I'm sending it directly to Sauce when I report you guys. Enjoy your bans, pretty much. Like you are breaking the rules. Like you're just doing this to yourself. Like good luck. And then he went on to do other things. So if anything, it's experience.
Yeah.
At the very, very least, it's experience. You know, what to do in those kind of situations, I guess.
So, to bring it back, because we are just all over the place. Thank you for the follow.
So very good to meet
What is something that motivates you through the tougher days? Those days that are so draining. Like, what is something that keeps you going?
It's spite. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was. I wish I said this for comedic relief. No, it's spite. It's like the whole it's the whole like
family.
I've been wrong so much.
So very good to meet you.
And like, you know, people try to bully me off of the platform. People never choose me first IRL, you know, in friendships. You know, the system constantly works against me instead of with me, you know, with like school and work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's spite. It's like, fuck you, I'm doing this, fuck you, it's happening. So like, and also like a little bit of spite towards myself, because you get stuck sometimes. You're like, everything is horrible, I can't do anything, like everything sucks, I give up, you know, and then you lay down in your bed and you sleep for 3 days, you know. And then you're like, no, like, get your dumb ass out of bed and like do something. Like you're becoming like spiteful towards yourself, because you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyways. Like, I struggled, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyways. Like, I don't care. So it's spite. Straight up.
Hey, you know what? At least you're honest.
Yeah. I wish it was like, I want to achieve my lifelong dream of. No, I would love to, like, in a couple of years, be like, look at me now. Fuck y'all. That's my goal.
See,
that's my goal.
For me, like, it's funny because, you know, I'm not really one who's like, who wishes bad upon people. Like, there's already some negativity. Like, I don't need that. But, you know, sometimes it's just like, you know what? I am coming back to streaming and fuck you. Or, you know, and like after that whole situation, I was like, you know what? You want to be such an awful human being? I'm just going to erase your presence from, like, my channel and everything. Because I don't need that. Fuck you.
And also, like, I don't know. It's like, I'm a bit maybe the kind of person where people tell me, like, don't do that, and I'll do it anyways. They're like, Viking, no, and I'm like, Viking, yes. I will do it. I like, just because you said no, I'll do it anyways, you know, like stuff like that. So when they tried to bully me off of the platform, I just went harder, you know. I wasn't using Twitter that much at the time, and then they were harassing me on Twitter, and I was like, I'm gonna use Twitter even more now, and now I have over 1,000 followers on Twitter. Like, fuck you. You know, I was this little creator with 300, 200 followers on Twitter. You're harassing me, and I had nothing to like stand up against these people with. Get hacked. I'm a dude. Like, you know, I'll grow the platform.
Yeah.
Like, watch me. I did. So
look at me now. I'm giving paper.
Yes. so it's nice. And it's also the whole. I often think that, like, if they were gonna try to come for me again, or someone else too, because I definitely have had an increase in people lately who are not trolls. Trolls are fine. Like, trolls literally doesn't matter to me, because they're just a troll. Like, if they go, haha, you're fat in my chat, I just ban them, and like that's the end of it usually. But when it's the kind of people who hang out for 5 weeks and then suddenly do something really strange or say something incredibly rude, and then when I call them out of it, out on it, they become defensive instead of apologetic and become like an asshole. And like, you know, people who will write things on Twitter about me or like change their bios, stuff like that, like crazy shit like that. It just fuels me to do more and do better. Like, I don't know. It's because it's often easy to be like, oh, this person don't wanna, like, they did this rude thing, and like you kind of instantly will think it has to do with me, you know?
Yeah.
But no. It has everything to do with you. Watch me grow my community even better and stronger, and you're not allowed to be in it anymore because you acted like a butt. That's it.
To touch on like kind of an example, back when I modded for the person I no longer associate with, you know, they had someone who was in their community for years, and you know, they wanted to start Stream Raiders. I'm personally not a fan. It's very distracting. But you know, that's when it was fresh off the presses, you know, and they're like excited about it, and people in chat were excited about it, and they're like, you know what, it doesn't hurt anyone. They want to try it, cool. And this person came in and was just awful. And, you know, I'm like, I can't sit here and see them being so rude and awful to someone who at the time I considered a friend, you know? And I'm like, it got to the point where the last thing they said was, I hope you're getting paid really good for this. And I was like, that's it. And I timed them out. And they had a whole, like, freak out. They were like, I'm paying them, no, go ban them, you know, go talk to them in the DM, see if they're okay, if they're, like, a friend. And I'm like, that's not my job. My job is to protect your chat and you from chat. That is my job as a moderator. My job is not to go and check on every Sue, Mary, and Bob who come in and have a temper tantrum, whether they've been here for 1 second or 100 years. That's not my job. If you come into chat and you're a dick to either the streamer or anybody in chat, and this goes the same active right now with my own chat. So, Lil Bad, I know you're probably lurking around here. You have my permission. I don't care. I don't care if you're subbed. I don't care if you're not subbed. I don't care if you've been here from the beginning. I don't care if you just joined. If you are an asshole to me or anybody in my community, you are getting yeeted, whether it is a timeout or a ban. It depends on, you know, the thing. It is not my job. I am not your babysitter. As a streamer or a mod, I'm not your babysitter.
I'm smiling because the other day in my chat, someone came in and had like Google translated something to Norwegian and posted in my chat. And Desi just instantly deleted their message. I know.
Oh, yes.
Because this is a person, like, Desi knows who it is. Like,
I do.
A person that is not a troll. So she knows that it's not a troll or something. But I thought it was funny because I was like, you're not, like, you still have to follow the rules in here. You are aware of that. Like, just because you've been here before doesn't mean that you don't have to follow the rules. And Desi was like, I'm so fucking tired of people, like, can't speak English. Jesus. And I was just laughing because it's like, how hard is it to just follow the damn rules? You're not special because you've been there before. The rules are the same for you. Exactly the same for you as everyone else, not just for new people.
And the thing
like,
is
you go
also
to the extra length to break them.
Yeah, and and like the thing is also like for me, I don't really speak another language. Like I kind of know bits and pieces from what I learned in school, but like I'm not here knowing an entire ass other language. I can barely speak English.
Not Norwegian.
So it's
of
like
all languages, not Norwegian.
Yeah, so it's like for me, I don't really have that problem too often. I'll have someone come in here and I'm like, listen, I don't speak that. So if you don't start speaking English, you're out of here. You know, and in like your case, it happens too fucking often. And I'm like, listen, it is in the rules to start a conversation in a chat. The rules pop up before you can even chat in your first time speaking in a chat. It is not like you really have to go out and find that they're right there in your face. It pops up before you can even chat. And it's like, you are intentionally going out of your way to do it. And it's like, me and your other mods, you know, do not speak Norwegian. For all we know, they could be saying something incredibly offensive.
That's what I said. And the thing is, when I got harassed by that streamer, they are Norwegian and only stream in Norwegian and only have Norwegian viewers. So that's how they isolated me. Because they knew that I was speaking English in my streams and had very few Norwegian viewers. So there they went, only speaking Norwegian than when they were harassing me, and therefore isolating me completely because no one else could understand what they were saying without having to translate it in Google Translate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not okay, because also if you people, you know, as Salem is saying, usually they come in and speak like, you know, there will always be that little Russian text and they will say like something nasty always, like we all have experienced it. Not to like diss Russians or something, but it's usually that. But in my case, that's not it. It's Norwegians who are excited that I'm Norwegian, or Swedes excited that I'm Norwegian because we understand each other.
Yeah.
Not usually Danes, it's usually Swedes, but you know, we all understand each other, so they'll start speaking Swedish or Norwegian. And I'll have to be like, hey, like, this, my job is not to sit and translate your messages so the rest of the chat can understand what the fuck is going on. If I was speaking Norwegian, I'd probably have like, you know, people who have like 2 languages in their streams.
Yeah.
They will have like ENG and then slash and then whatever other Norwegian. So in my case, it would be NOR.
Yeah.
I'm only speaking English all the time. All the messages are in English. So what the fuck makes you think that you can just come in and be like, "Hallo, så kult at du norsk," and then Desi will just be like, "What?" And then Silver will be like, "What?" And Sammy, who's also not Norwegian, and Gail is not Norwegian, you know, those are my mods. They'll just be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Because I don't have any Norwegian moderators. Like, it's ridiculous, honestly. I at this point I've considered just pretending that I don't understand their message, and they'll be like, "But you're Norwegian." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I don't speak Norwegian."
Say you're Canadian. No, I'm
from New Zealand.
There you go.
I just have a bunch of Norwegian flags everywhere right now, but I'm from New Zealand.
That's your persona. Your persona is Norway. Mm-hmm. But and another thing also is with the people who are in your stream a lot is some of them, and it's happened, and I called it out, and I think you've also called it out, when you say, hey, don't do this thing because it's getting to be a lot, and then they think, haha, I've been here for so long, I'm gonna do it to be funny. It's not funny.
No.
It's not funny.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, it's going from the ha ha ha, it's getting a little annoying to like actually pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, please don't call me trash. Like, it's annoying when people call me trash because it's not original, it's not funny. Like, people call me Viking, that's just how it is. And they go, ha ha ha, okay, trash. And I'm like, what do you think my reaction would be? Like, and then I get annoyed. I'm like, what did I just say? And they're like, I'm just trying to be funny. And I'm like, what did you think my reaction would be? Haha, that's so original. I never heard that one before. It's like, are you, what? What? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Where I'm like, hey, please don't spam the rewards. Like, people will be like, oh, there are rewards here because someone redeemed the hydrate. And then 5 people will redeem everything else that isn't on a cooldown. Why? Like, read the room. I don't get it. That is exhausting to me. Like, it drains my energy and makes me annoyed and wants me to, like, makes me want to end the stream because it drains my energy and makes me so tired, like, mentally exhausted.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, one, I don't think when it comes to the rewards that we have the option to, at least I don't think so right now, to kind of put the cooldown between any reward. So like if someone rewards hydrate, then you can't do any reward until that cooldown. Like that, unfortunately, I think we need at this point, just in general, because unfortunately, it is something that one bad apple, in this case, a lot of bad apples, is kind of ruined for the bunch.
And I wish you could group them together because, like, okay, so all the sound alerts that I have, if that was one group, so if one sound alert just played, you have to wait a bit before you can play any of the other ones too.
Yeah.
And if a hydrate was just redeemed, then no one can redeem a posture check or a stretch or a rest your eyes because it's a lot. Like, I understand, like, the hydrates and the posture checks are obviously because people like spending points, obviously, but also sometimes, like, I straight up will forget to drink water sometimes because I'm too into the game. So it's a nice reminder. And like sometimes I slouch when I play games or I'm sitting weirdly, like crookedly. So it's nice with the reminder. But we are not doing like a spa segment in the stream where we're like stretching and posture checking and hydrating and resting our eyes and, you know, whatever else people might have. Like, do a 10-minute segment of the self-care, which, like, sure, you should probably do that, but spread it out, you know, like when it's just like redemption, like after each other, it's just too much. It's way too much.
And luckily, like, I don't have too many that are really too spammable, I don't think. And, you know, I think they're pretty good with not going crazy, but, you know, we are growing and you're getting more people who either are new to Twitch and don't really know how it works or are...
My stewardess comes down the aisle with the drinks.
What perfect timing!
has a flight, like, airplane theme on her streams. And her bot literally just went. Passengers, your stewardess is bringing the beverage cart down the aisle. Please enjoy this refreshing drink and stay hydrated. She's like, coffee? Tea? Coffee? Tea? Thank you.
What perfect timing. See, look at that. The theme is so good that I even have her boyfriend to come at the right time.
That's funny. But yeah, so it's just, yeah, since I'm growing, people are obviously excited, but I'm telling people, like, if you guys are gonna spam the rewards, I'm gonna have to make them expensive. So now I could make the bit ones cheaper because Desi is pretty much the only one who uses them, and I also didn't want to, like, Desi to go bankrupt, so I made them cheaper. But, you know, if people are spamming the point ones, I'm gonna have to make them more expensive, and they're already quite expensive, but they're still being played quite often. Not so often that it's annoying, but they're often enough that I feel like it's a nice pace right now. Like, it's spread evenly out the stream. But if people start spamming them, I'm gonna have to make them really expensive.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
because it is, even when not even just to you, but to chat itself and to the mods, it's like you're having a conversation. Like, there was one time we were having, like, a really nice conversation between chat and you, and it was, like, a, you know, a really in-depth one, and then all of a sudden there was just, like, boop, 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 and we're like, okay, well now you gotta do hydrate, posture check, and all of that. It's like, okay, but we were having a conversation, and now it's like weird. And a lot of the times, it's like they want acknowledgement as well.
Yep.
It's crazy.
As well, usually chat is very good at like getting me back on track or keeping me on the topic because I get easily distracted. Sometimes I'll even just like nothing will happen. I'll just be talking and then stop talking. And I'll just like shut down for like a second. I'm like, what the fuck am I saying? Like what was I talking about? And I just completely like my brain just shuts all the way down. And then people have to like, Mikey, we were talking about this and that. Like, please, like, come on. And I'm like, oh, right. That was it. And that's also why I don't like stream raiders, is because it's so disruptive. It just, people are having really good conversations or doing something very interesting, and then, stream raiders, and then they forget everything.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I don't care about stream raiders. I just want to hear you like talk about the thing. I was very invested, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll often leave streams when the little thing goes off. I'm like, okay, bye. That's not why I'm here. Like, I don't give a fuck about these little pixelated warriors. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It is such a pet peeve of mine with the stream raiders thing. And also knowing that most of the people who are currently using stream raiders are being paid.
Yeah.
And that's why they're doing them. Because you know why I know? Because I was offered a deal. And I said no. That's how I know they're being paid, or like they're affiliated with them, so they get a cut of what, I don't know how transactions work in that game. But I was offered a skin, so a lot of the streamers you will watch that play Stream Raiders, they will have their very own skin customized because they're getting paid. And that's fine. Like, get your bag, but don't also don't act like Stream Raiders is amazing. Like, you're getting paid. It's a job. And I hate Stream Raiders. It sucks. So annoying.
Yeah. It's especially weird in like the ESO category, because ESO in and of itself, there's just so much that's going on. Especially if you're doing something like a dungeon or you're doing trials or something like that. Yeah. It's like, it's already a game that has so much going on.
And nowadays you can't watch like a lot of streams without having stream raiders. I see that counter and I turn around and I go back.
Yeah.
And I know people love it. Like, I know viewers, and a lot of viewers enjoy it. I know Silver plays Stream Raiders and enjoys it, and like will be on scoreboards, and because I see his name plenty of streams. So I understand. Like, that's allowed. This is just a matter of opinion, obviously. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine. And I talked to some other viewers about it when I got the email with the offer, and they were like, please don't. It's so annoying. Like, I just want to watch one stream where doesn't have stream raiders. And stream raiders doesn't take long. That's not it. Like, stream raiders doesn't take long. It's the fact that you set everything on pause, on hold, because you're gonna play another game.
Yeah. I feel like the only way really to, like, the way that I would feel less distracted with it as a viewer, I think is, with your usual setup, how you kind of have Diva and like a tiny cam on the corner, kind of like that. Like, if you have your main thing going on and you play it and it's just like in the tiny corner and you're not stopping conversation, you're not stopping the game that you're currently playing, and it's running on the side, I feel like that would probably be a little bit less. Because as a person playing it, I believe you can also see the battle. Or is that just, you can see the setup. I'm trying to remember. Like, in the very beginning.
Like, bold of you, Viking, to talk shit about something you never tried.
I remember only the streamer can see the battle. Then just you really need to see them before. Like, it's...
I don't know.
Or have
but
just
the fact
dedicated
is that they're not
streams
able to do that because they always have to comment on what's happening. Like, oh, look at that, look at those, and like there will be giant cats and there will be a dragon and there will be trolls and like they will always have to, obviously, naturally so. It's just something that happens, but
yeah,
I think you have to like consciously not comment on it in that case.
mm-hmm.
I don't, yeah, it's disruptive. That's my main problem with stream raiders. It's disruptive.
Yeah.
And I also hate the sounds that make the
oh yeah,
when you're fighting, and I'm like, here we are listening to lo-fi music and people are talking, and ESO ambient fighting noises and music and whatever the frick frack, you know. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you hear that little and then in your ears, and I'm like,
yeah. No. I feel like that's kind of akin to like you're listening to a podcast and it's like they're having like right now, right? Like I'm sure there's people like lurking and it's just like a podcast kind of thing. And then all of a sudden like, you know, it would be extremely jarring, I'm assuming, you know?
What the fuck happened with the podcast?
Yeah.
It's like, and now a word from our sponsor.
Right. Like, literally, because they are getting...
It's just like, you know, it ruins everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's like listening to Spotify when you're not subscribed.
Yes. That is a very, yes, mood. Exactly.
That's the whole mood. Stream Raiders is like listening to Spotify without being subscribed to Spotify. That is what Stream Raiders feel like.
That's a quote.
That's literally it.
That's a quote.
That's literally it.
That is the quote for Stream Raiders.
That's a tweet. I'm gonna get so much hate if I tweet that out. I'm so tempted.
That's your hot take for that one with the picture with the person and then there's lives everywhere. What's your one hot take that makes people react like this?
My unpopular opinion.
Yes. That's that one. And then you put it and then people are just like, what? Oh my god. Oh.
Cancelled.
Cancelled.
All the ESO streamers hate me even more now because I don't watch Stream Raiders.
But yeah, it's so distracting. Like, and the noises too. Like, I can't. I tried it too. Like back in the beginning, I was like, I'll give it a chance, and I was just like, I can't. Be bothered.
And then, but also, like, I thought that people genuinely, like other streamers, genuinely thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It changes when you know they're being paid.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're doing, which is good. You know, like get your money if you know if it's good income. I don't. That's not it. Like being paid and like, well, it's not shady. That's not it. Mm-hmm. I just thought that people liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not alone about hating it. The difference is that people get paid for playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just am not willing to. Also, like, I don't have time to do that crap. Like, I really don't have time.
Yeah.
I barely have time to draw giveaway winners because people are taking too long to give me their server and platform and their in-game names when I draw the winner.
Oh boy.
Like, I have shit to do.
Yeah.
I don't have time. So yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine.
I feel like with Stream Raiders, it should be its own game. Like,
yes,
take out the aspect that you have to wait XYZ between battles. Take it out. Just make it a game and then have its category. Say the fuck out of the other things. It's just really, really distracting too.
Yeah, but like my friend Sephora, she plays Dead by Daylight, and Dead by Daylight are notoriously known for having extremely long waiting queues. You know, you queue for forever. Sometimes 15 minutes of queue time, you know?
Yeah.
So what she does is that she will do not stream raiders. She'll do like words on screen. It's called something like that. It's like a guessing game, you know.
Words, yes.
And she participates herself, but she is literally waiting to queue. Like she's trying to keep her chat busy and keep them from leaving because she's literally just sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
She doesn't pause Dead by Daylight mid-match and be like, 1 second, killer, I just have to go and get on Stream Raiders.
Could you imagine?
You know? She's trying to kill time pretty much.
Yeah.
And give her viewers something to do. I think it's very fun because she keeps talking and then we are guessing and writing in chat, and like her chat obviously is very busy. And brings people out of lurk too. Super smart. But also she will have her camera like this, like big, like this, and then she'll have the game in a corner. Like this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. So the game won't be big and she's small. Like she's just intermission kind of, but giving people something to do. And I think that's super smart. And it's not disruptive because she's not doing anything. She's waiting for queue. She can't make it go any faster. So when she queues, basically.
And I think also with words, for example, like that's something that you can stop. Like once you get queue, you know, like you don't have to like wait for it to be finished. Like you can just stop.
Plus, I don't have to sign up. I don't have to make an account. I just type in chat. That's literally it. Like I don't do anything but just type out the words that I'm guessing in her chat. That's literally all there is to it.
Yeah, and I've seen like marbles around. That one is fun. I've played that as a viewer on that side. And it's really fun to, you know, like watch the marbles go around and stuff and see who gets first and all of that stuff. But that's never like something that takes precedence like over another game. It's either between or it's part of like community night, you know?
Yeah, or people draw giveaway winners that way.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Whoever wins like gets the prize, which I also think is super creative.
Yes.
But Words on Stream as an actual Twitch game category for sure. But it also can be played as just this intermission thing, which I think is nice. I think Stream Raiders also has their own category, technically, I think. I feel like I've seen it. I'm not sure. Actually, let me just check. No, they do. They definitely do. So yeah. But we just keep getting off track. We may have to make like a streamer podcast at this point.
Oh my god, I would love that.
So yeah.
If you could turn back time to the good old days, and talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
I would have told her that it's not gonna get easier. It's gonna be a struggle, and it's probably not gonna be worth it, honestly. Because everyone keeps telling you always, right? Like, it'll get better. When you grow up, it gets better. But I've been struggling with my mental health for at least 10 years, you know, since I became a teenager. And people will always tell you that it ends. It doesn't end. So don't sit around waiting for it to end. Be productive and proactive and do something about it, rather sitting around waiting for it to pass, because it won't pass. You're gonna have to do something about it. And I was just suffering in silence for so many years instead of asking for help. And if I had started a bit earlier, maybe I would have been taken seriously as a teenager. But, you know, you're a teenager, so you're like, everything's fine. I don't have issues.
Of course, or you're on the complete opposite end. Everything is awful. I hate the world. I feel like there's no in between.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, speaking of childhood, what are some of your favorite stories? They could be either really good ones where you feel like you're in such a good mental, you know, place, or just a good, you know, story memory that you have.
It's a, like,
I hope you have one.
No, I do. I guess. Like, I don't have like a specific story, I guess, but like a very nice time for me during my childhood years was when my sister still lived in southern Norway because she moved to northern Norway. Mm-hmm. So when she still moved down here and she lived at a farm with her then boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, for years, and she had horses. So I would spend weekends and holidays and vacations at their farm, and just we would go for trail rides. She would teach me show jumping. We would go, you know, swimming in the river with, or like the river with the horses. We would do barbecuing outside and play with the dogs and watch movies. Like that was like my I had like my own, almost like, you know, kind of like a getaway kind of, you know, it's luxury really is what it was. Cause she was also, where she is, but at the time too, she was incredibly kind to me. You know, she would buy snacks and they would make good food to eat, and we would watch funny movies and stuff. So I really appreciate that, that she like bothered, because there are 7 years between us, so she's quite a lot older than me. Mm-hmm. So she was an actual adult, meanwhile I was still basically a kid. So I appreciate that she bothered, like she made the effort, for me. So that's really nice. I have so many fond memories, and a lot of like falling off horses and the please don't tell mom kind of situations.
Oh no.
Where I like go flying off of the horse over an obstacle, or flying off to the side, getting my wind knocked out of me, and bitten and kicked and stuff, and basically just be like, please don't tell mom. So there's been lots of fun stories. So like that's like a time that I think back to very, very fondly. So that time, yeah.
That's sweet. I love
mostly
that.
Only good.
That's good. For both personal and stream wise, what would be one of your proudest moments? What is something you are most proud of in both aspects?
Obviously making it to the stream team finally, which is no surprise, which is why I'm looking so smug, because everyone's probably already knew I was going to say that. But the thing is, I work my ass off to make it happen.
Yeah.
I worked for 2 years to make it happen. Meanwhile, there are so many other streamers who will make it into their stream team in 6 months. You know, I had people who started streaming after me and had way less knowledge of the game than me and would make it into the stream team before me. So I'm proud. Like, I made that happen finally. Probably with a little bit of help from Bethesda Nordic. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know, but I have a feeling they might have like been like, hey, maybe it's time to like let Viking on board. we need a Nordic in here. Like, we need some representation. But that's okay, because they wouldn't have vouched for me if I wasn't worth it, basically.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I'm okay with that. But also, I'm very proud, streaming wise, is having a very good, kind, like, core community. Mm-hmm. So when I say, you know, there will always be these kind of viewers that hang out for weeks or months and then suddenly turn out to be major douchebags, and I'll have to ban them. Or I correct them so harshly that they never come back, which is okay. We don't want them back anyways. But I feel like my core community, you know, like the real people, they are very kind, they are smart, they are welcoming and warm, but they're not so warm that they will let shit slide, you know?
Right.
They're protective of other people in the community and me, you know? So I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that. And in real life, like, other than that, I managed to get, like, you know, this is a trial period, so I don't officially have the job, I guess. But still, I still went to interviews and I still applied and I still got that position that I currently have for a position that I'm not qualified for. Like I get to do digital marketing for a pretty big company here that I'm not qualified to do so.
Right.
And I did that, all me. I applied, I went to the interviews, I went to my first day by myself. No one's been holding my hand. I did that. So I'm very proud of that because if that was like 3 years ago, I would have pooped my pants. So I've grown a lot. And then I'm very proud of my relationship with my boyfriend, which sounds disgusting. Like people are like cringe.
No,
awful.
stop.
I hate that.
Stop.
People are like, ew.
No.
but like, I don't know. We are just like, it's so stable. Like I have friends who are in relationships, and I know people online who are in relationships, and they argue and they fight and they have conflicts and they don't agree on anything, or they talk shit about their significant other all the time. They're like, oh, my significant other does this and that, and like it's so annoying, or I hate when they like, it's just, we don't do that. We just coexist in a very, I told him yesterday that like it feels like we're nonstop in one of those fun sleepovers that you would have with your friends, We're just hanging out and having fun sleepovers, but we live together. And we'll play video games together and watch movies and cook food and do separate things. He'll play his games and I'll play my games, and he'll let me do all my silly stream things and put on crazy makeup. And I'll go into his office with my crazy makeup on, and I'll be like, hi. And he'll be like, so that's what we're doing today. And he just accepts it, no questions asked. And if I was like, when I said I want to stream mornings, he was like, okay. And then if I say I want to stream more, he goes, okay. So I'm very proud of that relationship that we have. We've been together for 7 years now. And I think we're doing great, like compared to a lot of people our age, at least. So I'm super proud of that.
Yes, you should be. It's something that is, at least from what I've seen, is kind of rare. Like,
yes,
like what you were saying, like a lot of people that it's just like arguing and things like that. It's so rare to find like just someone you can just chill with, literally.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate it so much too, that I don't have that added extra stress.
Yes.
My boyfriend is not a factor in the negative parts in my life in any way. I don't worry about anything when it comes to him, and like, I don't worry about anything when it comes to him at all. So it's not a factor that negatively impacts my life, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't go around worrying what he thinks. I don't go worrying about whether or not, he would be unfaithful or talk shit about, like, nothing like that. Like, there are no doubts, there are no scary things at all. And I'm so happy because that would fuck me up. Like, I don't think I'd function if I had another person who's super complicated and has all these things going on and conflicts and stuff. That would just not work out. So I'm just happy that, I have like this very safe, stable person in my life that also doesn't meddle or needs to know everything, or like desperately needs to understand me, basically, because he just lets things be. And that helps my mental health a lot, because I couldn't have dealt with a significant other who is like me. I'm very happy that we're not the same. That would have been too much.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have, someone who is that stable rock, especially when everything starts to attack.
Yes.
So, picking up more on the positives, what are some hopes and dreams that you have for the future? It could be within the next 5 years, it could be even wise, personal, both?
I don't have like a lot of goals. I have one that I'm very excited about having because I haven't had one until like recently. So I'm very excited about it, and that is living in a house, like have our own house. That excites me because I like interior stuff, and I would love to have like our house because now we live in like an apartment thing building.
Mm-hmm.
So he owns this apartment, so he could redecorate and paint and go crazy. But it's really small and it's kind of like a very okay apartment that doesn't need any redecorating and stuff. I would love to have a house where we could just make it more our own. So that is like a goal I have, buying a house that we own. Which in Norway, luckily that is very doable. So it's also like a realistic goal, like it will happen at some point. I just have to save.
Yeah.
And like get a job that pays okay at least. And since we're two, you know, it's easier to get a loan. So it's doable. Getting like a decent house. And now we can maybe redecorate. It doesn't have to be like a new house. It can be an older house that we have to fix up a little bit. Totally doable. So that's exciting to think about. Like someday own property, like our own space that we can do and customize and do what we want with. And then obviously I've started finally putting it into the universe that I want to achieve Twitch partner, which is something that I haven't done before. And last year before Christmas and all the way before that, I've always said that I haven't reached for partner because I haven't felt ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just couldn't imagine it. Like I couldn't imagine myself as a Twitch partner. It just didn't seem like something I realistically would be comfortable with. And also like I couldn't see it happen. Obviously I also didn't have the numbers for it, but like theoretically, hypothetically, I was to imagine being partner at the time. I just couldn't see that for me at the time, but now I can. I feel like I've grown a lot. Not numbers wise, like I've grown a lot as a person.
Yeah.
These past 6 months at least, to the point where I feel like I could handle it. Now I'm ready. And now I feel like I'm ready, basically. And so I finally started kind of like putting it out there and actually saying it out loud that like, okay, partnership is something that I someday would want to achieve. Preferably sooner rather than later. But you know, that will probably take time. But it's nice. So those are like 2 goals, and that's enough. Like that's way more than enough goals for me.
So, speaking of house, would you want your own streamer? And what would that look like to you?
Stream room?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a room dedicated strictly to like streaming. You would have like all your setups and stuff in there.
I think it's like I already have. You've probably seen my setup. I think I have what most streamers have, kind of. So I'm not lacking anything. I think whatever I'm lacking is maybe space because it's really small in here. Like it's a small space. But it would allow me to have a little bit more better lighting. Right now, my background, I don't have any lights on right now for the floodlight, but the room is so small that my overhead RGB light, the floodlight, is not lighting up my background nicely because there's not enough space.
Right.
So stuff like that, just aesthetically. But obviously, I would love to have even more desk space. I would love to put my monitors on monitor stands, you know, just aesthetically, but also for function. And then if I had a bigger room, I could store, I could buy more like wigs and maybe cosplays even. Because one of the reasons I'm not buying more wigs and stuff, I don't have anywhere to put it. Like my current wig, you can see it just laying there because I don't have anywhere to put it. Literally don't have space. And that's pretty much it. Like I like my background a lot. I already have so much crap And this isn't even all the crap that I have. I have more crap that you can't see always. So like there's enough crap. Just need more space to like even it out, I guess. That's it.
Just more space. So yes. Important activities or projects. Do you have any that you're either thinking of or that are coming up that you can?
Well, I don't think so. I have some charity last week of May. But it's like it's only over like a few days. And I try not to worry and stress too much about charity. I'm trying to think like even $10 is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna make like a huge deal out of it, simply because my energy has been spent. I already have done so much. And then I'm celebrating my birthday probably next week because my birthday is May 24th. So maybe like on Friday or Saturday or something, possibly. Mm-hmm. But no, other than that, I don't have any huge projects that I'm gonna set out to. I'm always playing with different ideas and things that I'd like to do. I've also been wanting to do charity stuff for things that are more relevant to where I am, because I keep doing charity for I only done charity for WWF and the charity we're doing now in May is for the American Hearts Association, something for kids. And obviously it's nice to help out in America as well, but it would be nice to help out a little bit more locally.
Yeah.
So I have considered like, I don't know, asking maybe like the national animal. They're like the PETA of Norway, but not so extreme and not problematic.
That's a good description.
They do a lot of like protesting, stuff like that. Or like there's two different organizations. One of them is more like PETA, and then there's one that simply just focuses on saving cats and dogs and bunnies and whatever, and then rehoming them. And that's literally it. So I'd love to like collect some money for them because they do a lot of good work. I just don't think, obviously they're not on Tiltify or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be cool if I could make them get on Tiltify. So I don't have to handle any of the money because I'm I don't want to touch the money. I just want the money to go where it's supposed to, and I just say thank you and like good job. I don't want to handle the money.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That would be cool. I thought about that a lot.
So you gotta reach out.
I gotta maybe also research like how easy it is to get on Tiltify, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever considered any kind of project aside from streaming? Like there's the podcast that we like joked about earlier. There's different kind of things even within streaming.
Yes, something I've been playing with recently is making fashion content. That sounds wrong. For games.
Yes.
I'm not gonna put on a fashion show here and post it online. That's not what I'm saying. No, like make videos of in-game fashion. So like Red Dead, because Red Dead does have a lot of fashion. And ESO, obviously. And maybe like even GTA, like I own it. I could totally do that and make just to make videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's it.
Well, I don't have any more written questions.
That's okay. We're probably also like way on overtime.
Yes, but that's fine.
Yes.
I have nowhere to go. You do. So I will release you off into the wilds of Norway.
Thank you.
To live your life with the tacos that I still very much envy.
But yeah, no, I'm good. I'll be lurking while you play Skyrim for sure.
Oh boy. But thank you so so much for joining today. It was an absolute pleasure to get to deep dive into the brain of the almighty VikingTrash.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun. I enjoyed this. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
With these now, I'm like, do I want to do kind of like a little podcast thing? And now I'm like, But yeah, anywho. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who watched, who stopped by and stuff. That was cool to see it. There were actually people in chat and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's really nice.
I will
release
it to you. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye.